My name is Brian McCabe and I'm the chairman of the history group here in Kill in County Kildare. We're standing at the John Devoy Memorial, which is more or less paralleled to the site of an incident which took place 100 years ago in August 1920. It was one of the more serious events during that War of Independence in County Kildare. Essentially, it was an attack on a patrol of RIC officers by the local volunteers. We have two different written accounts of the incident, and I'll give you the first account, which is taken from a local newspaper, a more or less pro-unionist newspaper, the Kildare Observer. And the account reads as follows. This is from the issue of the 28th of August 1920. It says, "Up to Saturday night last, the people of Kildare had reason to congratulate themselves on the fact that the county had remained quite free from any crime causing loss of life arising out of the disturbed state of the country generally. But on that night, that distinctive feature of our life in the county was sacrificed when a tragedy occurred near Kill involving the instantaneous death of a police constable and the serious wounding of a sergeant. The facts are briefly that on Saturday night, about 11:15, 4 policemen, Sergeant O'Reilly and Constables Haverty, Flanagan and Flaherty, left the police barracks at Kill on cycle patrol to take up duty at the residence of Mr. K.J. Supple, County Inspector, RIC, at Monreid, Naas, where for some time past members of the constabulary have been on guard during the night. The patrol was cycling on the middle of the road in single file, Sergeant O'Reilly leading, and after him, coming in the order named, Constables Patrick Haverty, Flanagan and Flaherty, and had reached the spot about half a mile from Kill when, on approaching a little plantation on the left-hand side of the road, travelling in the direction of Naas at Greenhills, there was a shout of 'hands up' from behind the fence separating the plantation from the road. And according to the evidence given at the inquest later, a volley of shots was fired. Sergeant O'Reilly and Constable Haverty fell from their bicycles, the sergeant's body rolling into the water channel on the left-hand side of the road. The other 2 constables also fell from their bicycles, and immediately a large body of men rushed out of the plantation and surrounded the party, levelling revolvers at them. The rifles, revolvers, belts and ammunition were taken from the police. Sergeant O'Reilly lay where he fell. Constable Haverty attempted to rise but fell back. Constable Flanagan called out that Haverty was dying and asked to be allowed to go for the priest or doctor, or that one of the attackers should go. Constable Flaherty, he and Constable Flaherty were ordered to march with their hands above their heads in the direction of Naas. They were escorted by a number of men with revolvers, and when they had reached a spot some couple of 100 yards distant, they were told to climb over an iron gate which opens onto an old avenue or laneway leading to Lord Mayo's farmyard. Having got over the gate, they were told to remain there for some hours. This occurred about 11:00. The 2 constables lost their way in the wood and did not get back to the barracks until about 5:30 a.m. when Constable Flanagan returned, being followed some time later by Constable Flaherty. So that's the account from the Kildare Observer. The other account we have is a first-hand account by James Dunn, or Jim Dunn. He was one of the men who took part in the attack. His father had been the captain and I think founder of the Kill Corps of the Irish Volunteers. His son, James or Jim, had joined the volunteers in 1917 at the age of 15. So his family were very closely involved in the activities during the War of Independence. His account is taken from the Bureau of Military History. It's statement number 1571, and briefly describing the incident at Kill. So his account is as follows. He says, towards the end of 1919, some of the Naas company of the volunteers attacked the district inspector's house on the Salins Road, Naas, which was guarded at the time. After expending their ammunition, they left. And he says, from that date, a patrol of 4 RIC officers would leave Kildare every night to stand guard on the inspector's house. P. Dunn, that's his father, Patrick Dunn, sent scouts to watch the patrol, and watching the patrol, they decided to ambush them. Now, the original plan was for the ambush to be at the Monreid Road, but his father actually became ill. He suffered from a chill and had to go to bed under doctor's orders. And there was a suggestion that the ambush would be postponed, but headquarters decided that it was so far advanced it should go ahead, and they sent somebody else to take command on the occasion. The ambush position was changed from Monreid Road to the main Naas Dublin Road at Greenhills, Kill, and the date was set for the 20th of August 1920. The main body of about 20 men with 10 shotguns and some revolvers were placed behind a bank beside the main road, with a small road or screen with trees at their back. I was sent with 5 men under Jack Sullivan, section commander, to the Kill side of the main body, with instructions to close up behind the police patrol and not to allow any of them to get back to the barracks in Kill, which was only a quarter of a mile away. Only myself and Sullivan were armed. I had a shotgun and Sullivan had a Colt 38 automatic. William Daly, section commander, was in charge of the advance guard on the Naas side of the ambush position with 5 men, 2 of them armed, to stop the police if any escaped in that direction. 3 more men were behind the main body with the extra ammunition. About 10:30 p.m, a cycle patrol of 4 police officers appeared, riding singly about 20 yards apart. We let the last RIC man pass and closed up at about 100 yards behind them. When the first RIC man, a sergeant, neared the end of the main body, he was called on to halt. He said, "All right, men." When Tom and Pat Domigan jumped from behind the ditch, however, he opened fire on them. General firing broke out then along the main body of volunteers. At the time, I, with Sullivan, was close to the rear. 2 of the officers attempted to escape back to barracks and were captured by myself and Sullivan. P. Brady, although unarmed, rushed in and disarmed the 2 police, whom we took prisoner. The other 2 RIC men were killed in the first volley. All the arms and ammunition were collected and given to the unarmed volunteers to dump. Myself, Sullivan and Brady then marched the captured police to Palmerstown Estate, 300 yards away, and instructed them not to report to barracks until the morning. The whole operation was over in 20 minutes, as there was grave danger of enemy convoys travelling the main road, and from 100 police and about 400 soldiers who were stationed at Naas, and from 20 police in Kill, just a quarter of a mile away, who could be on the spot within half an hour. None of our men was wounded. Men of the main body of volunteers who were armed were First Lieutenant T. Domigan, P. Domigan, P. McGee, Harry McGee, Peter Traynor, John Traynor, Patrick Kelly, Ger Kelly, Tom Nolan and J. Kelly of Kilteal. The captured material amounted to 2.45 revolvers, 2 carbine rifles and a large store of ammunition. So, from the point of view of the volunteers, a successful operation, ammunition captured and casualties on the RIC side. However, that was not to be the end of the matter. At this time, of course, the Black and Tans were quartered in the country as backup to the RIC, and they were to take their revenge just 5 days later in the village of Kill and in Naas.